guys, Sherry Fox here with What the Fox. Now, how many of you have had a leaky faucet? Pretty annoying, right? The water is off, but yet it still continues to drip. And let's just be honest, how many of you have had a leak and you just left it for a little while? Maybe you didn't know how to fix it, or maybe you just didn't want to pay a plumber. So I'm going to show you how to fix this really easy. Let's get started. Now, the first thing we want to do is shut the water off, which is usually located under the sink. You're going to see two shutoff valves. One goes to your hot water and one goes to your cold water. You want to turn these in a clockwise direction to turn the water off. But if for some reason they don't turn easily, I wouldn't suggest that you force them. You can try a little WD-40. Or in my case, I ran into a problem. The cold water shutoff was too close to the cabinet and it wouldn't allow me to turn it, so I had to turn the main water valve off. So if you run into a problem like this, or you can't get your shutoff valves to turn, just shut the main water valve off. Once you have the water off, don't forget to bleed the lines. Just turn the faucet on until the water stops. Now, what I'm going to be replacing this with is just a 2-handle bathroom faucet, which I think I picked up for around $30.
Okay, I'm going to try to get a good angle for you guys, but this is up under the sink. And what we want to do is we want to take an adjustable wrench, and what we have to do is loosen these nuts right here so that we can remove these plates. Now, I've already pre-loosened these a little. The only main trouble you may run into when doing this is there might be some corrosion. So if there is some corrosion, use some lubricant. Usually that seems to help, but you just want to get them loose enough until you can actually, just actually slide these plates off. Now, if we look down just a little bit, what we're going to see is this is where the water supply connects. Like I said, sometimes you can run into corrosion, so things just don't want to turn really easily. So just take another wrench and hold the part that comes from the faucet so that you can get a good grip on this. And then we can get it to come free. Now, usually the most difficult thing about trying to do plumbing is you just don't have a lot of area or a lot of space to work with. So everything's so tight and cramped. So you just kind of got to have some patience. This is the original sink that was in this house when it was built. So there's a lot of corrosion.
Now, it is possible to just disconnect your water supply lines from the water shutoff valves as long as the holes are large enough in your sink and you can just pull all of it through. But I just want to go ahead and show you guys how to disconnect it from the faucet itself, just in case you couldn't do so.
Now, you're probably going to get a little water, so you may want to get yourself a towel. The water is off, but you're still going to get some water that's still coming out of the pipes. Now, once you get that loose, this just comes out like that.
And then you'll just repeat this for the other side.
And I don't know if you can see the water dripping, but it's also good to wear some glasses and keep a towel handy, because you're going to get wet. It's really just part of it. And again, we'll just pop those apart.
And now we have our faucet loose. It's kind of just sitting there. It's not really bolted to anything. But what we do still have connected is this metal strap. It's a lift rod strap. And what this goes to is your little pop-up that's in the sink. So I'm going to show you how to get this off. Now you could just unscrew the screw right there and pull that metal rod out, your lift rod. But there's also a little clip. It's a metal spring clip. And if you'll look down, you're going to see a rod sticking out of your drain. Now this pivots because this is connected to your pop-up in your drain.
And we need to release that. And if you'll look, it's got like, you can squeeze this together. So what you can do is you just squeeze it and it will slip right off the end. But keep that because your faucet may not come with this. So don't throw anything away until we put in the new faucet.
But if you need to, just take a small adjustable wrench, loosen the screw, and then the strap will slide right off the rod.
Now that we have everything loose underneath, let's go back up top. And all we want to do is we just pull this out. Now, if yours has the old copper pipes like this one, just kind of squeeze them together and usually they'll just work themselves on out. And as you can see, that's pretty gross. So this is a great opportunity to go ahead and clean years of just buildup that you'll have underneath this old faucet. Now that we have everything cleaned up, this is pretty straightforward. You'll have a plastic spacer here. Leave it on, and you'll just slip that down in the holes. You're also gonna have 2 of these. And what these are for is we're gonna go up underneath and we're gonna hand tighten these so that we can hold this onto the sink.
And then you'll just take your lift rod and drop it down into the hole.
I do a lot of grunting and groaning. I should just do a live show. People be like, grunts and groans all the time. I do when I do plumbing. Now all we have to do is take these lock nuts and like I said, we'll hand tighten them. Now if you're doing this by yourself, don't tighten them all the way just yet because you have to crawl back out from under here and see if your faucet is centered. So sometimes it's a good idea to have a helper up there that can kind of hold the faucet and get it centered for you. But you can go ahead and put them on there, just don't tighten them all the way so that you can still adjust. And like I said, we don't want to use any tools on this because we don't want to crack the porcelain. But we'll tighten it just a little bit and then I'm going to see if it's centered and we'll go from there. Once you have your faucet centered, just go ahead and tighten it up. Now this faucet has the older water supplies. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the new Flex water supplies on here. So let's just go ahead and remove these.
If you are not changing your water supply tubes or hoses, you can just simply skip this step. But if you are, and you are unsure of the length, size, or fittings, just take the old one off. Take it into the hardware store and they can easily match it up for you. And we'll just repeat this for the other side, but you may want to lay yourself down a rag or something because as you saw earlier, you will have some water that will continue to drain out of these when you remove them. Now that we have all of our water supply lines removed, you may want to use some Teflon tape. Now this is just white Teflon tape. And what this is for is we're just going to put this around these threads. Now I like to put
put mine clockwise just because that's the way we're going to tighten it. But you can do it either way. And we'll just put a little just right around the threads.
This just helps us get a better seal when we attach our water supply line, and you only want to wrap it a couple of times and then just break it off like so. And then you'll just repeat it for the other side.
And now we just want to take our water supply lines and we'll hand tighten them at first. And then we'll go back and tighten them with our wrench.
When tightening these, you don't have to put a lot of force behind it. Just make sure they're a little snug.
And again, guys, the most difficult part is you just don't have a lot of room to move underneath your sink. So that's where really the patience comes in. Now the next thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and attach our lift rod with a little clip. I'm glad I didn't throw this away because this particular faucet didn't come with one. But if you remember that little clip, the first thing you want to do is slide one end of that clip on, and then you will slide this and then put the second part, squeeze it together and slide it onto your rod.
Actually, guys, this faucet did come with a lift rod, but the particular lift rod they provided only works if you change the drain out that also came with the faucet. So that's why it's very important not to throw any parts away until after your installation, because you just don't know if you're going to need them.
And then you will lift this up to get it down in the hole. And then let's go ahead and just hand tighten our little screw up here. And once it's a little bit tight, let's go ahead and make it snug.
You want to make sure that your ball rod is in the down position when tightening the screw.
And now all we have to do is we're going to put a little Teflon tape on these.
Now connect your water supplies, but just make sure that you put the cold water to the cold water and the hot water to the hot water. Hand tighten at first, then use your wrench to make sure they're snug. Just be careful not to over tighten. And now, however you turned your water off, it's time to turn it back on.
Now we've turned our water back on.
And so far, we're good with no drips.
So let's get underneath and make sure that we don't have any leaks. Let me show you guys a little trick. Whenever I change faucets or I mess with plumbing, I really like to lay a paper towel underneath the area for at least a couple of days, because if we do have any leaks, it will drip on this paper towel, and even if it dries, you'll be able to see if there were any leaks. And it's just that easy, guys.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you like what we're doing here, guys, smash that like button for me. And can I encourage you to subscribe? I'd greatly appreciate it. But when you do, don't forget to click that little bell. That way, when I upload new videos, you'll be the first to know. This is Sherry saying you guys can do this easily. Thanks again, guys, for tuning into What the Fox. Until next time, take care.